Well, hi everybody. We are back and ready for our 2:30 match, winner side action here in the 9-ball division. 22nd U.S. Bar Table Championships, brought to you by CSI and sponsored by OB, the official cue of the U.S. Bar Table Championship, and by Kamui, the official tip of the U.S. Bar Table Championship. Winner side action here. Brian Deska and the South Dakota Kid, race to 9. And if you were with us just recently for the last match, that was really enjoyable to see young Tristan Hansen play. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of him as the years go by. But here we are on to our next match. And Brian has won the leg, so he'll open things up here in the first rack. Well, we're starting to boil the field down quite a bit here. I don't know exactly how many players are left, but I do know that when we get down to our evening session here, we'll probably be a dozen or fewer. I know at 8:30 we're going to have 8 players left because we're going to have the 7th, 8th place match, and then the 5th, 6th. So we are working our way down to a final pairing, final 4 exactly, for tomorrow. And tomorrow we will not only begin the 8-ball, but we will crown our 9-ball champion as well. So we'll keep you posted as the day goes along as to the schedule for tomorrow and when the 9-ball semis and finals will be played. Thanks for being with us, everybody, once again on the CSI stream. And on behalf of our entire crew here, as well as the tournament direction staff from Bad Boys Billiard Productions, CSI, Kamui, OB, and our great 4 associate sponsors, Diamond, Cyclop, The Magic Rack, and Simonis. Thanks so much for your support. Looks like he can bank this. No, I guess he can't. He's going to have to kick at it. Thought he was looking at a bank. We've mentioned this a few times, but I think it's worth a re-mention that for the first time ever, the 3 divisions here at the U.S. Bar Table Championship on the men's side carry Moscone Cup ranking points for selection of this year's team. And the way that's set out right now is the top 3 point finishers at the end of the cycle, which will be late in the year, sometime in the fall. I think 10 events comprise the points list, 5 on the bar tables, which are the 3 here, and then the 2 U.S. Opens coming up in July at the Rio in Vegas in conjunction with the National 8-Ball Championships. Those will make up 5 events for points for Moscone. And we've already had the Derby City 9-ball division, which was the first event. Shane with the first rack, and also the break now in rack number 2. After a little bit of a safety battle there, he was able to get the first open shot and cleared up. Just like that, the first 2 are on the SVB side of the board. OBQ, the official cue of the U.S. Bar Table Championship and one of our main signature sponsors here. And we want to say how much we appreciate that support. Our great friends from Texas, long time supporters of CueSports International events. And our thanks to Royce and Don and everybody there at OB. Camui's the official tip of the U.S. Bar Table Championships. And we want to also say to Kyle and everybody else at the Camui that has been so generous with their sponsorship, again, how much we're glad they're part of the CSI family. Well, that's 4 in a row. See if Brian can get on the board here, maybe with a nice break and run. I do have the payouts for the 9-ball division. While Brian's racking them up, let me run those by you. This is on the men's side. 150 players. Remember, 5,000 added by CSI. They're going to pay 48 places out of the 150, just about a third of the field. So the winner will get 5,000, second 3,000, and then 1,500 for third, 1,000 for fourth, fifth, sixth is 750, seventh, eighth is 520, ninth through 12th 370, and then 275, 13 to 16. 200, 17 to 24, 135, 25 for 32nd, and 100 for the bottom 16 finishers. Give you the women's payout here shortly. Good shot. All right, it looks like he's well on his way to getting on the board here. This is really the key right here, is he's got to get good on the 3, and he's going to have to deal with the 9-ball here probably. He might be able to miss the 9 altogether, but then he's got to fade the 8. So this is all the work for the whole rack right here. Don't know if he can draw into the 9 and stop the cue ball. I think he's got to go forward and maybe with some little bit of inside here. And that should work fine. He's actually got an excellent angle. I'd shoot the 3 in the corner here. That'll help him get to the 5 a lot better. And even straight in on the 5 won't be all that bad. That's where to be. Good shot. Shane is the defending champion in the 9-ball division. He was the defending champion in the 10-ball division until he was eliminated in, I think, 4th place. Yeah, he finished 4th. So he still has one title he can defend. Corey is the defending 8-ball champion, and that kicks off tomorrow. Brian's going to have to put a little bit of left English on this to get under the 9. Doesn't need much. Middle diamond will suffice. Oh boy. He hit that really bad. I mean, you could tell because the cue ball went nowhere, which means he hit it super full. And I think really that's just a case of nerves. Brian's a much, much better player than to miss a ball that poorly. It's just got to be nerves. He's still facing a goose egg up there on the scoreboard, and it's more of an embarrassment. Uh-oh, look at this. Oh, Jesus. No way we thought that was going to drop. And the crowd erupts for that 3-rail 9-ball. Here are the women's payouts in the 9-ball division. 41 players. They're going to pay the top 12. The winner will get $875. The runner-up, $585. $400 for 3rd, $250 for 4th, $150 for 5th, 6th, $120 for 7th, 8th, and a Benji for 9th through 12th. And $1,000 added by CSI. Better have a look here. Might make the 9 as well, but the 5 is certainly going in. And the cue ball is going way too far. Now he might make the 9 again. Although I think he might draw this just to prevent possibility of the cue ball following the 9 in. Oh, I guess he is going to play the 9. All right. 6 for 6 for the South Dakota kid. Now coming up next, although we don't know who, we'll be down to only 4 players on the winner's side, and we'll have one of those 2 matches for you. So that's 4 o'clock. Well, if you're Brian, you just, at this point, you just really want to win a game. No one wants a donut, even if it's from the best in the country, one of the best in the world. And things just aren't opening up well for Brian. He's got to look at the 1. Probably will be able to get to the 2. It's covered a little bit, but he can get on that left rail. You can see the 7-8 is tied up, and don't see a whole lot of easy paths to open it. Five ball's a little big here too for him as well. always seems to work out like that. You're playing a great player, and he's just cutting right through you like a hot knife through butter, and all of a sudden you finally get a shot, and you get a squirrely rack, and everything looks tough. Watch that 5-ball. That's what I was kind of concerned about. That's where the cue ball was headed. And now he's going to have to play a jump shot. There's no rule against him putting that part of his stick on the table, except the fact that if a ball hits it, it's a foul. I doubt that's going to happen, but nevertheless, it's pretty. I just think it's not good to get in the habit of doing that. But I think he's pretty disgusted with his performance. So he probably doesn't really care. Well, I wonder if he can make the 4, have the 6 break up to 7-8, and draw the cue ball 3 rails for the 5. Well, that was the plan. And now Brian comes to the table, and he's got ball in hand, but he's still got the 7-8 to deal with. And it doesn't look like the 7 will go up in the corner past the 9. Doesn't look like there's a bank on a combination. The 6 is actually not in that bad a spot to open them up. Get the cue ball around the head string. You can come 2 rails right at those balls, and you can hit them coming in or going out. And I think that's what I would do, is play to put the cue ball about on the head string, maybe 1 diamond off the right-hand long rail. And then you'd have a nice natural 2-rail path right at the cluster. Ideally, you would like to just graze the outside left side of the 7. Keep the cue ball there and just move the 8 away. I'm not sure that's enough to the right to come with inside here. Now we may have to come the other way. Yep. He needed to get that cue ball another foot to the right. Don't go by it. Oh, boy. Well, you know, he actually wound up having to play it, you know, the harder of the 2 possible paths, because he didn't get really good on the 6. But to go around those like that's kind of cruel. Now he's got really, I don't think he can pocket a ball here no matter what he does. I'm afraid if he tries to bank the 8 by throwing the 7 to the short rail, he might kiss the 7 with the 8. Try to look for something simple to do here. There really aren't a whole lot of options. I think that is what he's looking at, is a possible bank combination, but I don't like his chances. Maybe he could clip the right side of the 7 and go. Well, he did make the 8, and that's a hell of a good shot. He hit it hard enough to avoid the kiss. Now he's got to play another hard shot. You know, normally this would be routine for him, but trying to get on the board finally against the South Dakota kid all of a sudden this looks impossible. But he did it. Good job, Brian. On the board, 6-1, Shane's break. You ought to get 2 games for that. Awful lot of work to do. He had ball in hand and 5 balls on the table and still had to struggle a little bit to get out. So we'll get the scoreboard updated here for you momentarily at 6-1. Go right at the 6 with the cue ball here. That's what he was trying to do, I think. He just caught the 1 full. Maybe he was just trying to play position, but nevertheless, he did miss the ball. Brian has an opportunity. The 4-9 looks good, but how do you get there? 6-1. Yeah, if you're going to wind up playing the 4-7, you might as well try to get the angle where you can run into the 6 and the 5 with the cue ball, because the 4, if you hit it with a good speed, will lay right in front of the corner pocket as your insurance ball. And, you know, the 2's laying pretty well to get over there. This is, again, one of those shots, though, where you tend to come up short with your follow because the rail slows the cue ball down in a hurry. Maybe that's where he wanted to be. But he needs to leave the 4 in a nice spot to use that to get to the 5-6. That might work. He's elected to play safe and just snug him up to the 6. Not a bad choice, but you better make sure you freeze him on that ball. I wouldn't want the 5 near a cushion because it makes it an easier ball to hit. It's actually kind of close enough to the cushion where it's a bigger ball now. Leave that out in space, it becomes much more difficult to hit. I mean, not that it's an automatic hit. You still got to go 2 rails. But as you can see, you can catch the 5 coming in or coming out. If it was a foot more off that rail, it would play a lot harder. No good. Well, Brian with a chance to get a second game in a row. Center of the table will be perfect here for the 6. Okay, 2 in a row for Brian Deska after 6 in a row for SVB. So 6-2 is our score. And you are watching the 9-ball division of the 22nd U.S. Bar Table Championships coming to you live on CSI. And this event is being sponsored by CSI along with our 2 signature sponsors, OB and Kamui. Brian's got to be feeling a little bit better about himself, even though he still trails pretty well in the match here. But looking up at the scoreboard at 6-2, you at least feel like you've been somewhat competitive versus 6-0. And this looks promising. If he could get that cue ball where it is right now, he can split the gap between the 5 and 6 and shoot the 2. The only other place to shoot the 2 from is where the 7 ball is. So either way, he's got to be very, very precise with the cue ball here. I think I'd prefer just high inside here and try to track it right up the middle of the table, about to the side pockets. Just don't overthink things now. Just let yourself play. I mean, you know, you're a good player. You know what you're doing. I think he hit it perfectly. Might have actually wanted a little more angle, but he might be able to follow this 3 rails out. Good shot. He's starting to feel a little more confident. You can tell by the speed he's hitting the ball with and the rhythm that he's adopted here in the last couple of racks. Very nice break and run by Brian Deska, and that's 3 straight racks for him. So 6-3 is our score. I'd like to also remind everybody that the Grand Sierra Resort here is also our official host and sponsor of the U.S. Bar Table Championships, and we're so happy to continue our 4-year association with them, and we hope for a long, long stay here. It's a great, great venue for us. All right, 10 games have been played, 7 of them on SVB's side of the board. He needs 2 more to win the match. Brian's break here in game number 11. He gave him a pretty good whack last time. Let's see if he does so again. I don't want to back off too much here on your speed. That's a good solid stroke there. Cue ball got bumped, but it's going to turn out okay. And once again, a nice pattern in front of him. Straight in on the 2 in the lower left corner is going to be perfect. That's what he's looking at. What's his route to get there? Can he cut this to his right, to his left just a little bit and drag the cue ball down, or has he got to draw it straight back and over? That looks good. Came a little too far, but he does have plenty of room to just roll this in and bounce out. Break and run for Brian there in the 11th rack, so he's closed the gap up to 7-4 with rack 12 coming up. And I think it just it took him, a half a dozen racks before he could start to string a few balls together and loosen himself up and shake the nerves, but I'm afraid it might have been just a little bit too late. This time the 1 did not cooperate, so it looks like Brian's going to get an inning here. He may thin this on the right and try it. No, I guess he's going to play the 1 down here and go the other way. I thought he might thin it on the right and come down. No, I can't tell what he's doing. That was gin right there. 3 rails short and float behind the 5. may have to masse this a little bit into the long rail to lengthen it out so it will catch the 1, because he's very close to the 5. I think he can probably hit, yeah, a few inches past the diamond. Might not need any masse here, maybe just a little bit of left. But the problem is, even hitting this 1 ball, there's absolutely nothing on that half of the table to hide the 1 ball or the cue ball behind. So the best option here is to hit it with some speed and hope to luck something in or get separation. But you've got to adjust where you hit here if you hit it with some speed. And he recognized that. And if it hits the point, it actually is going to be beneficial to Brian, because now Shane is jacked up over a ball and shooting into a ball in the middle of the table as opposed to one maybe near the cushion that would have played a little easier. Nice shot. Not where he wanted to be. And at that speed, I wonder if he was trying to actually run into the 4 ball. Regardless, he's got only a 4-7 or a safe. This bank? Yeah, I knew, yeah, but now what? Jump shot? Mm-hmm. Like to keep the cue ball right there. No, couldn't do it. But this looks wired, or at least close enough where he can judge which side of the 6 he's got to kick into. I think it's going at the inside point on the short rail. Nothing wrong with that. Nice hit. How they rolling? This is almost a dead combination the way it came to stop. On the hill. Yeah, he can make it. He knows Shane's going to break for the match next time. I'm sure he would like to at least run this final rack in case he doesn't get another opportunity. Just to leave a little better taste in his mouth. And look, Shane had him, I believe it was, I think it was 6-0 before Brian won his first rack. Yeah, it's just too bad it took him too long to get going here. I'm not sure. It may have altered the outcome, which is still not a certainty, but he's definitely playing much more of his game now in the past 30 minutes than he was for the first half hour of the match. And the balls have cooperated a little better for him after the break as well. So again, a nice break and run by Brian. He now is at 5. Shane breaking for the match. And the right to continue on the A side. I think this will take Shane into the final 4 of the undefeated players. And that's our next match coming up, is one of those 2 matches featuring 2 of the 4 unbeaten players. So game 14, 8-5, SVB breaks. can put this one in the books. A 9-5 win for SVB. He moves ahead to the Final Four on the winner's side, and Brian's going to go fight it out on the B side. So as soon as we know who our players are for the 4 p.m. undefeated match in the Final Four, we'll let you know. In the meantime, we're going to stand down for about 30 minutes, and we'll see you at 4.